Welcome, everyone, to this self-led workshop on implementing ethical considerations into your AI product development process. Whether you're a product manager, designer, engineer, or ethics reviewer, this session is designed to equip you with practical tools to build AI-enabled products responsibly. As AI continues to shape industries and influence lives, it's no longer enough to focus solely on performance and innovation. We must also ensure that our systems align with ethical standards and societal values. Throughout this presentation, we'll explore a structured framework that helps teams proactively identify and address ethical risks, integrate ethics into every stage of development, and foster trust with users and stakeholders. By the end of this workshop, you'll walk away with actionable strategies and resources to make ethics a core part of your product development lifecycle. Let's dive in and start building AI that's not just powerful, but principled. And LT, number and GT. Let's begin by understanding why AI ethics is not just a theoretical concern, it's a practical necessity. First and foremost, ethical AI helps us prevent harm. AI systems, if left unchecked, can unintentionally discriminate, violate privacy, or even exploit vulnerable populations. By embedding ethical safeguards early, we minimize these risks and protect individuals and society at large. Second, ethics is essential to building trust. Users are more likely to engage with and rely on AI systems that are transparent, accountable, and behave consistently. Trust isn't just a nice-to-have, it's a competitive advantage. Third, ethical AI helps us meet regulations. With frameworks like the EU AI Act and NIST's AI Risk Management Framework gaining traction, regulatory compliance is becoming a baseline requirement. Staying ahead of these standards protects your organization from legal and reputational fallout. And finally, there's business value. Ethical AI reduces costly redeployments, avoids public backlash, and differentiates your product in the market. In short, ethics isn't a barrier to innovation, it's a catalyst for sustainable, responsible growth. Now that we understand why AI ethics matters, let's talk about how to build a strong foundation, your organization's AI ethics guidelines. These guidelines are more than just a policy document. They're the backbone of your ethical review process and should reflect both your company's values and widely accepted ethical principles. Start by forming a diverse ethics committee. This group should include voices from product, engineering, legal, and other relevant stakeholders. Diversity of perspective is key to spotting risks that a single discipline might overlook. When drafting your guidelines, aim for clarity and flexibility. They should be specific enough to guide decision-making, yet adaptable across different AI applications. Focus on core principles like fairness and non-discrimination, transparency and explainability, privacy and data governance, safety and security, human agency and oversight, and environmental and social impact. These principles will serve as your ethical compass, helping teams navigate complex decisions with confidence and consistency. Remember, well-crafted guidelines are not just theoretical, they're practical tools that empower teams to build AI responsibly. Let's take a closer look at how we move from broad ethical principles to actionable, enforceable guidelines. Principles like fairness, transparency, and privacy are essential, but on their own, they're too vague to guide real-world decisions. For example, saying AI systems should be fair to all users sounds good, but it doesn't tell us how to measure fairness or what to do if we fall short. Instead, we need specific guidelines. A better version would be AI systems must be tested for performance disparities across demographic groups, with documented mitigation strategies for any gaps exceeding 5%. This gives teams a clear target and a plan of action. The same applies to transparency. Rather than simply stating that users should understand AI decisions, we should require that high-risk decisions include user-facing explanations of key influencing factors and confidence levels. For privacy, don't just say, protect user data, specify that training data must be anonymized using industry-standard techniques, with regular audits and documented data minimization practices. The key takeaway here is that your guidelines should include concrete metrics, testing requirements, and verification methods. This transforms ethics from a philosophical ideal into a practical, measurable part of your development process. Now that we've established strong guidelines, let's talk about how to put them into action through a structured ethical review process. This process should be embedded into your product development lifecycle, not bolted on as an afterthought. It begins with early assessment during product conception. At this stage, teams complete a pre-screening questionnaire to identify potential ethical concerns and classify the project's risk level low, medium, or high. Next comes the design phase review, where we evaluate design decisions against our ethical guidelines. This includes reviewing how data is selected and annotated and analyzing potential biases in user workflows. Then, before launch, we conduct pre-launch validation. This is a comprehensive testing phase where fairness and performance are rigorously evaluated. For high-risk applications, an external ethics panel should be brought in to provide an independent review. Finally, we move into post-launch monitoring. Ethical oversight doesn't end at deployment. We need regular audits of model performance and continuous analysis of user feedback to catch any emerging issues. This four-step process ensures that ethics is not just a checkpoint, it's a continuous commitment throughout the product lifecycle. To ensure your ethical review process is effective and sustainable, you need the right team structure. At the heart of this effort is the core team, ethics specialists who oversee the entire process. They're responsible for maintaining documentation standards, ensuring consistency across reviews, and guiding the overall strategy. Supporting them are subject matter experts, rotating members who bring domain-specific knowledge to the table. For example, if you're building an AI system for healthcare or finance, you'll want experts who understand the unique risks and regulations in those fields. Next, include diverse stakeholders, representatives from legal, product, engineering, user research, and even affected communities. Their perspectives help surface ethical concerns that might otherwise be missed. And for high-risk applications, bring in external reviewers, independent experts who can offer unbiased insights and challenge assumptions. If you're working with a smaller team, don't worry. Start with a simple cross-functional ethics committee that meets regularly to review projects. As your program matures, you can formalize roles and scale up. The goal is to create a structure that's both rigorous and adaptable, ensuring ethical oversight is embedded in every decision. To make ethics truly impactful, it must be integrated directly into your existing product development lifecycle, not treated as a separate checkbox exercise. Think of ethical review as a continuous thread that runs through every stage of development. It starts with idea generation, where teams should already be thinking about potential ethical risks and opportunities. Then, during requirements gathering, ethics pre-screening helps identify high-risk projects early, allowing for proactive planning. As you move into the design phase, ethics design reviews ensure that your product architecture, data choices, and user interactions align with your ethical guidelines. These reviews should be structured with clear deliverables and approval gates, just like any other technical or business milestone. The goal is to make ethical considerations a natural part of your workflow, not an afterthought. When ethics is embedded from the start, teams are empowered to make better decisions, avoid costly rework, and build products that users can trust. Integration isn't just about process, it's about culture. And that culture starts with making ethics visible, actionable, and accountable at every step. A critical part of building ethical AI is maintaining thorough and transparent documentation. This isn't just about compliance, it's about accountability and traceability. Let's start with data documentation. Teams should clearly record where training data comes from, how it was collected, cleaned, and any known limitations or biases. Include metrics on data quality and demographic representation to ensure your models aren't trained on skewed or incomplete datasets. Next is model documentation. This should cover the model's architecture, training procedures, performance metrics, especially across different demographic groups and known failure modes. For high-risk systems, include model cards to standardize this information. Then we have risk assessment documentation. This involves identifying ethical risks, estimating their likelihood and severity, and detailing the mitigation strategies you've implemented. Be sure to include privacy impact assessments, security vulnerability analyses, and potential misuse scenarios. Finally, maintain decision records. Document key decisions made during development that have ethical implications, what trade-offs were considered, and why certain approaches were chosen. This level of transparency not only supports internal accountability, but also builds trust with users, regulators, and stakeholders. In short, good documentation is the foundation of responsible AI. One of the most effective tools for improving transparency in AI systems is the model card. Model cards offer a standardized way to document key information about an AI model, its capabilities, limitations, and appropriate use cases. For product teams, model cards serve multiple purposes. First, they act as a communication bridge between technical and non-technical stakeholders, helping everyone understand what the model does and how it behaves. Second, they provide a historical record of development decisions, which is invaluable for future audits, updates, or troubleshooting. Third, they serve as a compliance artifact, helping your organization meet regulatory requirements around transparency and accountability. And finally, they're a transparency mechanism for users and external stakeholders, offering insight into how decisions are made and what risks might be involved. A well-crafted model card includes sections like model details, type, version, and training date, intended uses and limitations, performance metrics across different groups, training data characteristics, ethical considerations, and caveats or recommendations. By making model cards a standard part of your documentation process, you're not just checking a box, you're building trust and enabling responsible AI deployment. Now let's get hands-on. One of the most effective tools for operationalizing ethics in product development is the ethics checklist. This isn't just a formality. It's a structured way to ensure your team consistently considers ethical risks throughout the lifecycle of your AI system. The first step is to identify risks. Think about how your system could be misused, where bias might creep in, or what could go wrong if safeguards fail. Next, categorize those issues. Group them under themes like fairness, privacy, security, and human agency, aligned with your ethical principles. Then, formulate questions. Each risk should become a yes or no question that prompts action if answered negatively. For example, have we tested model performance across demographic groups, or can users opt out of AI-driven features? These questions make ethical review concrete and actionable. Finally, test and iterate. Apply your checklist to a current project, gather feedback, and refine it. Establish a regular cadence for review so ethics becomes a habit, not a hurdle. Interactive element. Take 5 minutes now to jot down 3 to 5 potential ethical risks specific to your current AI project. This is your starting point for building a checklist that's tailored, relevant, and impactful.
Let's take a look at how your ethics checklist can come to life with practical, targeted questions. These questions are designed to prompt thoughtful review and action across key ethical dimensions. Starting with fairness and inclusion, have we tested model performance across different demographic groups? If disparities exist, do we have a mitigation plan in place? And have we considered accessibility needs in our design to ensure inclusivity? Moving on to transparency. Can users clearly understand when they're interacting with AI? Do we provide explanations for significant AI-driven decisions? And have we communicated the system's capabilities and limitations in a way that's easy to grasp? For privacy and security, ask, is user data collection minimized to what's strictly necessary? Have we implemented robust anonymization techniques? And are there safeguards in place to prevent security vulnerabilities? Finally, under human agency, consider, can users opt out of AI-driven features if they choose? Is there a human review process for consequential decisions? And have we designed fallback mechanisms to ensure continuity and control? As an interactive element, take a moment to adapt these sample questions to your specific product context. Tailoring them to your use case will make your checklist more relevant and effective.
Let's bring everything together with a real-world example. A financial services company recently implemented an AI ethics framework for their loan approval system. From the outset, the team recognized the high ethical risk loan decisions directly affect people's financial well-being, and there was a real danger of discrimination. During the initial assessment, they flagged zip codes as a potential proxy for race and socioeconomic status. In the design phase, ethics reviewers recommended removing these features and applying fairness constraints to the model. Before launch, pre-launch testing revealed a 7% performance disparity across demographic groups. The team responded by adding post-processing fairness algorithms and setting thresholds for human review. But they didn't stop there. In the post-launch monitoring phase, quarterly audits uncovered drift in fairness metrics after 9 months. This triggered a retraining cycle using updated data and stronger fairness constraints. The result? The system maintained over 95% approval accuracy while reducing demographic disparities from a historical 12% to under 3%. This case study shows that ethical review isn't just theoretical. It leads to measurable improvements in fairness, accuracy, and trust. Even with the best intentions, implementing an AI ethics framework comes with challenges. Let's address some of the most common ones and how to overcome them. First, resource constraints. Many teams worry they don't have the time or budget to do ethics right. The solution? Start small. Focus on high-risk projects first, use templates and open-source tools, and integrate ethics reviews into existing meetings rather than creating new ones. Next, stakeholder resistance. Some team members may see ethics as a roadblock or just another compliance task. Reframe the conversation. Ethics is about risk management and quality assurance. Share case studies and metrics that show how early ethical reviews can prevent costly mistakes and reputational damage. Another challenge is unclear ownership. Who's responsible for ethics? The answer: everyone. But to make it work, designate ethics champions within each product team, create clear escalation paths for concerns, and secure executive sponsorship to give the program visibility and support. Remember, ethical review is an iterative process. You don't need to be perfect on day one. Start with a manageable scope, build experience, and expand as your team grows in confidence and capability. To ensure your ethics framework is driving real impact, you need to measure its effectiveness. Start by setting baseline metrics when you launch your program, then track improvements over time. One key indicator is issue prevention. Look at the percentage reduction in post-launch ethical issues. For example, a 30% drop in problems after implementing reviews shows your process is working. Next, measure documentation compliance. Are your teams consistently completing ethics documentation? An 85% compliance rate indicates strong adoption. Another important metric is team coverage. How many product teams are actively using the ethics review process? If 12 teams are engaged, that's a solid foundation to build on. Finally, track early detection. What percentage of ethical issues are identified during the design phase versus after launch? A 45% early detection rate means your teams are catching problems before they reach users. Use a mix of leading indicators, like process adoption, and lagging indicators, like harm prevention, to get a full picture of your program's health. These metrics not only help you improve, they also demonstrate the value of ethics to leadership and stakeholders. As we wrap up, let's focus on what you can do next to bring your AI ethics framework to life. In the first 30 days, start by forming a cross-functional ethics committee. This group will be your foundation for ethical oversight. Then, draft initial ethics principles and guidelines that reflect your organization's values and product context. Create a simple ethics checklist tailored to your current AI projects, something your teams can use immediately. Finally, pilot the process with one high-priority AI initiative. This will help you test your framework in a real-world setting and gather valuable feedback. Looking ahead to your 90-day plan, develop documentation templates for data, models, and risk assessments to ensure consistency. Train product teams on how to conduct ethical reviews and integrate ethics checkpoints into your development workflows. And don't forget to establish metrics to track program effectiveness. This will help you demonstrate impact and refine your approach over time. Remember, Building an ethics framework is a journey. Start small, stay focused, and grow with intention. You're not just building better products, you're shaping a more responsible future for AI.